NSFW, what is the least sexy name you have ever heard? Went to high school with a guy named, get this, Croy. First name Croy, last name Croy. His parents must have hated him. I was a postman for a while, and the amount of times I have seen people with the same first and last name is surprising. I also saw a guy whose family name was, I kid you not, Commissar. Like, Smith. I get. Your distant ancestor was the village Smith, and the name stuck for the family. But how do you get Commissar as a family name in less than 100 years in an oppressed country? First name, Dur. Parents liked 80s music. Sheldon. Do it to me, Sheldon. You're an animal, Sheldon. Ride me big, Sheldon. It doesn't work. The name of the kid who played Jamal in Ghost Rider was Sheldon Turnipseed. I say it was because he changed it to Tyrone Gabriel in 2009. Probably for this exact reason. How do you look a baby in the eye and name it Gaylord? I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? I've milked a cat before. Gertrude. My GMA's name was Gertrude. She went by Dolly. I think Gertrudes hate their name more than anyone else ever could. Mine too. You ever called her Gertie? Holy, you better be running away as you say it. My mom knew a guy named Hoy Rubberfart. Please tell me the Y is silent. You're Joe. It's a Finnish name and literally means vomit in Finnish too. Are there really people named that? Yes, but it's an old name that is fading away. Your Joe is not the official word for vomit, but it's a well-known synonym. My guess is that the meaning didn't exist when that name was popular. Mildred. It makes me think of lumpy milk. Perhaps because it's close to mildew. Reminds me of mold and fungus. Yuck. Gargamel. Yeah. Smurf. That smurfing name. I saw a very serious press conference after something like a child abduction or school shooting years ago, and the police chief's name was Randy Belcher. I still get images of this red-faced, sweaty, hairy, beer-bellied, good old boy thrusting away at some unfortunate person while unleashing thunderous belches mid-stroke. So yeah, I gotta say that Randy Belcher is not a name. A guy the first knew had a real MILF for a mom, totally jaw-dropping, like an Anglo-Saxon Sofia Vergara. This vision's name. Doris Belcher. Nothing compares to my aunt's name, Fecunda. In Spanish that word is mostly used to say when a woman gets pregnant. Newt Gingrich. Mets forever 2K. I mean, he is already a Mets fan, and you have to lay this on him too. I had a morbidly obese neighbor called Bertina, not trying to body shame or anything, but Bertina does sound like a fat person name. She had a husband called Edwin. They must have met at a name convention or something. Tell us how you really feel, man. I challenge anyone to think of the name Bertina and not imagine a fat person. Honestly, say the name in your head and that person you are seeing was my neighbor. Gilbert. You can make that one better by just calling them Gil, but then you're calling them a fish's breathing apparatus. Dorcas. She was on Jeopardy! His first name was Hitler. I can't remember his last name because his first name was Hitler. Isn't that illegal? I've never heard of names being illegal. But he was from Africa. I can't remember where in Africa because I couldn't stop staring at the name Hitler on his ID. I love my husband, but his name is George and I hate saying it during. I call him Jorge, which is his name in Spanish. OCOC. I once met a woman named Garv. Dicklin Johnson. Saw her name in the film credits once. Humphrey. The Humphrey dance is your chance to do the hump. Eunice. I dated a smoke show named Eunice once. She's a doctor now. Why would you name your child? Usually short for Richard, but that just begs TH's question. Why though would you choose except the nickname? Bessie. This was my great-grandmother's given first name. She hated it so much that she graduated high school with B. Norma on her diploma and was buried as just Norma. Gertrude, Agnes, and Gladys. Gladys is similar enough to GLaDOS that I would name a kid that solely for that similarity. It would help if they also developed a very dry sense of humor. No offense to the Garys of the world, but Gary. Beulah. Beulah McGillicuddy was hot. Google it. She was so hot that if I were dating her and someone stole her from me, I'd come back and attack them with a bamboo stick 20 years later. I'd rather rip my own off and throw it in a lake than somebody called Clarence. This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. My family has both Egbert and Myrtles back a few generations. Thankfully we do not keep familial names in the family. My mom went on a blind date with a dude whose last name was Picklesheimer. Cletus. Some folk will never eat a skunk, but then again, some folk will like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel. Some folk will never lose a toe, but then again, some folk will like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel. Slarty Bartfarst. I know someone who married a guy with the last name Lipschitz. Needless to say, she didn't change her name. I hear that name and think of Rugrats. McKaylee. Middle name either Nicole, Marie, Elizabeth, Michelle or Kate. Orly. Olga. Karen. The obvious winner. Onuse. I met a smoking hot girl from Europe named Agnes once. However, it is also a what a farmer might name his cow. It means lamb, so that's unlikely. Skylar. The gender doesn't matter. Funny, I know two girls named Skylar. Both started smoking weed and cigarettes at 13. Peggy. I hate the name Carl. Rick Grimes ruined it. Gage. Knew 3 brothers in my school named Gage, Cuba, and Canyon. Doris. Yeah, but you can call her Dot for short, and I think that's pretty sweet. Donald. I mean, have you seen the duck? Mackenzie's. Barb. Eugene. Carol Baskin. That Carol. Gary. Not Gary, but that's not great either. A Gary with 2 R's. Also Jeff. Again, not Jeff, only Jeff. Honestly, Mets Forever 2K is pretty unsexy. Ugh. Gross. Forever and always Millicent. Blanche and Mervyn. Bertha or Karen. Tater. As in tater tot. I'm not joking, someone actually has that name. It's a toss-up between Maynard, pronounced Maynard, Pistol or Brixley. Or any of those dumbass the unique names white girls like Precious, Brent, Taserface, Ennis, Orrin Hatch. Esther is so common, but it sounds so unappealing to me. Most girls I know named Esther are actually quite beautiful, but for some reason I feel like it just sounds so gross. Saying the name aloud makes my mouth taste like mustard for some reason. Social distancing. Donald. Hey LFGM. Jemima and Gertrude. Gerald. Leonard. Seeing a lot of names that used to be popular decades ago, so I'll contribute this ABCDE. Debbie.